Welcome to the buy list. This is episode 63.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard. I didn't know how that was going to work.
Oh,
and it
man.
didn't go as expected.
You're so out of practice, brother. Oh, my God. So, Nate, it has been a little bit of time. Life is getting in the way of these episodes.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens. But we're back now.
Well, back,
And
baby.
I have a lot to talk about. So, we'll start with you. What'd you do last week and a half? In fact,
And a half.
Maybe two?
I have not done. I'm going to be very honest. I went to one armory and I borrowed a buddy's Azalea deck, and I thoroughly enjoy playing Azalea. I'm excited for our Azalea deck versus Talishar video.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
But honestly, I've not engaged with Flesh and Blood a whole lot. It's kind of odd. It's been like 2 months since I've like really played Flesh and Blood on a semi-regular basis, which is really weird for me. But that's kind of like the lull that we're just sitting in right now. I engage on the buying and selling and the collectible side a lot more. But I have not shuffled up decks a whole lot. I've not played a whole lot at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been kind of hit or miss there. Since we've been gone, it's definitely ramped up a little bit more for me. Last week I did another armory. It was a cursed 6-man pod. it was quite interesting. I still really like the puzzle of misfailed drafts, so I'm just enjoying trying to jam as many drafts as I can of that set before we move on to the next thing. But the big news is I think we talked about it on our last episode, is that I went to GenCon and definitely engaged in some Flesh and Blood there. And, it was really cool to see their presence there. I tweeted it out if you follow me on Twitter, just like the booth presence and things like that. But my overall experience, it was the first time I've ever been to Gen Con. I guess like overall experience was like, holy smokes, that place is insane. Like it sold out and it was like 74,000 people or 75,000 people. I was like, whoa. And let me tell you, it like you felt it in there. It was just bustling, dude. It was kind of nuts. But overall experience was great. The convention was really cool. Just like being around like a ton of people that play like board games and games in general is it was a fun experience. But getting back to like Flesh and Blood, it was their first year there. They had the Azalea deck there, which was like it was like a day early. It wasn't that crazy, but they also had the first strike decks. So Terra and Aurora, first strike. Basically, they're brand new entry level decks, which are like a couple weeks early. I don't think they come out until end of August, which was really cool. And man, I kind of did a vibe check, like throughout each day there. So it was like Thursday through Sunday, and there was like always somebody in line. There was always people doing play tests, not play tests, learning the game, like learn to plays. So they had that sweet Misfail booth and maybe like 8 learn to play spots, mostly full all day. Or like every time I went by there, which was a couple times because I had events there. They were doing events. They were giving out the Blaze promo. It was very cool. It was like they ended up saying, I think Brian said on Flesh and Bloods, shout out Flesh and Bloods podcast, that they sold Fresh and Bloods. I said Flesh, I think. Anyways, Tommy knows what's up.
Tommy's cool.
Yeah, Tommy's a good dude. But Brian Gottlieb said that they sold a first strike every minute.
Dude, that's
the whole week. Like over the weekend, it ended up being averaging out to like a first strike deck every minute. It was oh yeah, there it is right there. Shout out.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And before I guess we move on to, because we got some spoilers too, that's where we're going next. My last little ramble is that I forced my buddy Cole, aka Static, That's always in. He's my mod on my live streams. I told him, "You're sleeving up Terra. I'm sleeving up Aurora. We're doing this because they keep telling us that these decks are like perfectly made to match into each other." And yeah, they're really good. It boils down Flesh and Blood to a spot where makes a lot of sense, right? There's not a lot of like, hey, does this work when I do this? Like I think Brian mentioned where they just kind of strip down a lot of the layers, and it's just like, yeah, this card does this, and then this, and then this, and then this, right? It's just
Yep.
the armor's very like when you attack, do this, not like activate this as an attack reaction. They've done a lot of little smart things where like an experienced player, it would be an opportunity to like maybe miss a window, right? Like, oh, when this, there are some on hit triggers on there, but there's a lot of like the Terra arms just say when this attacks, break these, or when you attack, break these, and you get +1, right? So there's not like this, oh, feels bad, I didn't do it. Aurora's really fun. She kind of teaches you sequencing, and then Terra teaches you the guardian way essentially, which is kind of core Flesh and Blood. Like, oh, if I block with these two cards, I can throw these two cards, make a might, throw a hammer, right? He like gets into that pattern, and it's very um it's just very smart how they did it, right? There's like I played Aurora, of course, and it was just like every time I'm like, oh, I have 2 resources left. It was just like mechanically like almost perfect. Like, oh, I have 2 resources. And Terra looked the same way. It was like, oh, I have 1 resource, create a might, go next.
Yeah.
Also, Thrive is like a dumb card, by the way. It's the Majestic that's in the Terra deck. And like on surface, it's just like it's the Majestic that says if a thing would gain plus attack, it gains that +1. So like every might token becomes 2. And it's just like it's of course Cole being an experienced player, he is like, here's a burgeoning from Arsenal for 18. I'm like, bro, like that's not cool, bro. Because there's a couple cards that give like 3 might tokens or something.
Yeah.
That game still came down to like 1-1 though. It wasn't like he just like pummeled me into the ground. So there isn't any like feels bad moments. I was able to come back. But yeah, I as you can tell, I'm very excited for this product because I think it really will grow the game in a meaningful way. Like it's very smart, and just well thought out product overall.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
How many times did Cole beat you?
He's beat me every time. I literally get him to like 1 or 2, and all I need to do is some arcane, and I just don't find the arcane.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. So it's like I'm right there. Like every game goes to like 1-1 or 2-1. Where like you would think if you threw an 18, you'd be like, oh, that sucks. But it doesn't end up that way. But I've still yet to beat him. I actually played him before the Armory last week. I was like, bring your Terra deck. I want to win one finally with Aurora. Nope. Still haven't.
You just gotta slip some arcanic shockwaves in there.
I know, dude. I gotta upgrade it or something. It's crazy. Dude, that kind of like I want like that Terra could be like a force and blitz, man. Like throwing 18s. That Thrive hits his hammer too, because Guardians get the +1 on hammers. So it's like getting the hammer to like 7 is like a real thing because of the might tokens and stuff. It's like, dang, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet. I think that is like what you just described is like what really is drawn people into Flesh and Blood, right? These games that get down to this like 1-1, and then you lose, but you're like, I was so close. What did I do wrong? And you just you're like, oh man, I was so close. I could have done this. Whereas like there's so many other games like I'm not going to call anybody out. Every single one of them, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, where it's just like, oh, I lost 1 billion to 0. This wasn't remotely close. I felt like I had no agency in this game. And I knew as soon as you played this big dumb thing, the game was over.
Yeah.
but Flesh and Blood has this really beautiful back and forth and just this like heavy tension at all times where one decision is the difference between life and death. And it
Mhm.
is so like it's really cool to hear that like even in the first strike decks, this like beauty of like it is such a
Yeah.
close game to the end is really really shines there. So
What's the
that's
yeah,
it's
what's like even adds to that, Nate, and it's a good point you brought up is like I just mentioned it, right? Like I've had turns where I've thrown like a 3, the sword comes in for 2 and then a 4 and a 4, right? I do 12, 13 damage, chain links, do all this stuff. Have to do it very specific ways, right? You have to play the lightning surge first out of arsenal, then
yeah
you get go again on the next thing, and then you're and so on and so on. And so it's like, oh, I'm doing this really powerful thing, and that's exciting. And then on the Terra side, you're like, oh, here's 18. Look at this thing. I read my card, burgeoning. If I put it down, thrive. Once you figure out the little combo with thrive and might
yeah
tokens, you're like, you do this huge, powerful thing, and then after all of that, you still comes down to like a 5, under 5 health balance, right? And then you're like,
mhm,
oh, so close. So it's not this like I threw 18, I lost the game, shuffle up, let's go again,
yeah
right? It's this like you can still kind of claw it back. And like I said, if I just drew one piece of arcane damage, I win even after getting hit with an 18, right? So it's I think they've very purposely like added cards like Thrive to Terra. So you're like, oh, I want to do this more. Like, you know what I mean? I want to
yeah
like punch somebody with like almost their whole life, right? And see if I can stomp them. But then, you know, it comes down to like 1-to-1. So
yeah and that's the cool thing about them too is like I think I forget what Aurora's card is now actually. But she has a pretty neat majestic too that kind of makes it so like you walk away and you're like, I kind of want to build things around
hmm,
this deck. Um,
I'm not sure
and
she has a majestic in that deck, but she has cards like Fry, that are just like a 3 go again for a or like lightning attack. It's not a room blade attack, but it's just some really cool things in there. Um, her ability is an instant, so there's some like prevent the next 2 damage. It's a lightning card, so then you could turn on her ability on your turn. There's some like little depth things that you can learn. So
yeah,
um, yeah, hats off to Brian. I think he said he designed them himself, like he worked on them himself. So like major props, dude. They are very good, and I think they will gain a lot of players. I'm actually giving away a set of them tomorrow on Tuesday, so that's cool. I'm giving them away to my Discord.
are we dropping this episode tonight?
No, so then it would have been already. It would have been in the past, but I'm giving away a set because I think they're
I
awesome.
already gave it away.
I
Sucks
already
this
gave it
up.
away. Yeah, yeah. No, I will not be able to edit this out. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, Nate. Since
Yes.
the last episode, we've got some spoilers, which
Yeah.
kind of surprised me a little bit
Hmm.
because I thought the spoiler season was going to be more condensed. But hey, I'm all for it. Like, give me them all. Thank you. Let me jump
Yes.
right into it. Let me read you
James,
this.
send them to us, all of them. We want all the spoilers this set.
Yeah.
Ted literally put a rune chant on his leg. You cannot deny him.
Yeah, it took 4 hours too, man. I sat there, forgot how like yeah,
Um,
tattoos don't really hurt. They don't feel great though. So um yeah,
Tattoo
four
free since
hours, whatever.
'93, baby.
Yeah. All right, let me read you this first one, Nate. I think you'll really like this first spoiler that we got. So this is called Splatter Skull. It is a red brute attack. Attacks for 6, blocks for 3. What's it doing blocking for 3? And it says when this hits a hero, choose a face down card in their banish zone that was banished by Intimidate this turn. Put it into their graveyard. dude, dude,
Where are my clubs
is
at?
this like Oprah? Just like everyone gets a CNC? Like,
Dude, Brute has all the CNC effects now. It's beautiful.
yeah,
Dude.
so,
All
yeah,
right.
they have a lot
Club
of them
Daddy. Club Daddy is back, baby. It's back on the menu. Listen, I've never wanted to play Club Daddy more in my entire life. It's back, baby. Like this
Yeah.
card's nuts. Someone must have. I know Brian isn't in New Zealand. Like I don't know how long he's not been in New Zealand, but clearly someone snuck this past Brian without putting a block value on it. And to that person, I know it was you, Carol.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. This card's good, man. It's
This card, what? This card is
This card's very good.
a slapper. So the beautiful part about it is like you can just like literally throw this, have a card in your hand, and be like, "Is this an agile windup?" You gotta choose right now, bub.
yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
It
Yes.
costs 2, which also
Oh,
means
I don't think I mentioned.
combo,
Hmm.
combo, tunic pummel, baby.
Oof. Yeah. Dude, very quick side note. One of the events at Gen Con for Flesh and Blood was Blitz Precons randomly handed out. Guess what I got? I got Rhinar.
Yeah.
Uh, so I forgot to tell you about this, but I know we did a video on like the club, but I was just like, wait, this I had to like reread it. I was like, this ain't how this is. What? Like it's like I'm gonna swing for 5. I like this, dude.
Yeah, you do.
I brutalized 2 people pretty hard. That deck has pummels in it and stuff. I was like, this is not fair.
I didn't even know Reiner had a precon.
Yeah, it's the history pack. I got lucky and got the history pack. They were doing Outsiders history pack and so another set. I forgot what set it was for precons, but I was just like,
Dude.
they're like, here's your random, and I was like, ooh, Reinar, what's in this? And I was like, Pummel. It's like, oh no, but
Yeah,
yeah,
buddy.
I played an Azalea and a Riptide, and it was tough sledding.
I imagine.
But anyways, back to it. Splatter Skull. That is Chef's Kiss. That block for 3, like you said, that is crazy, right? I think like a year ago, that would if that was no block, it would be like, it's got a good on hit, but like, can we afford
It-
another no block?
a year ago, this card would have blocked for -3. Like if you if you attacked with it, you took 3 damage, which I think is a really cool design space for LSS to take with Brute.
Oh yeah, that would be cool actually. Like an
Just
overstated attack, but you take
oh
like
yeah,
2 damage or something.
hell yeah,
That'd be cool. Instead of like, and so they have like one brute could have discard and another brute could hurt himself a little bit.
hell yeah,
Oh
dude.
man, that
Imagine
is
like
pretty cool.
a 2 card 9, but you also had to take a damage. No on it, just vanilla 2 card 9. You take
Yeah.
1 damage.
Yeah, it could be cool. Um, you know how to get a hold of us, LSS. You know, we're here.
Yeah, you're welcome, Brian.
You're welcome. That one's free.
That
First
one's
one's
free. The next one you got to pay for.
all right, Nate. Let's jump to the next expansion slot card. This one's called Adaptive Dissolver. This is a mechanologist equipment base. That's important. It is modular. It is modular, so that means it can be equipped to any zone. It has the subtype of the zone it is equipped to. If you forgot, shout out Bright Lights. Action 0, equip this to another equipment zone, and then Arcane Barrier 1.
Dear LSS, why in the Sam hell did you just spend 4 slots of Part the Misfail on these stupid Evos, and then you give us one of these?
Yeah.
This should have came first. And then you do the don't even do all 4. Those things like their abilities literally don't matter. Just have Evos that like
Well,
have a modular equip Evo.
Well, I think you just like equip 4 of these, right? And then you like slip.
You can only do 3.
You do the huh
You can only equip 3.
or 3. So you equip 3 of these, and you have AB3 essentially, and then you like overwrite them and try to do this like quick attack against wizards. I don't know. I mean, we're just like Teklo is like the furthest thing from a hero, so it's like we'll get there someday.
It just doesn't. I don't. Okay, so the one thing I will say about this is it is really cool flexibility for AB because it can go in multiple slots.
Yeah.
So like if you like, I mean, we're about to get a lot of rune blades and wizards, and maybe you have. I mean, Mech has access to an AB2 head.
Yeah.
So you can run this and you can run the Visiatronic and this. And then depending on the matchup, if it's Rune Blade, you just put in your AB1 in your head slot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're playing against a wizard, then you just move it into your arms or feet, whichever you want. It's one of the really cool parts that I liked about adaptive plating in Dash.io is the flexibility of like being able to move it between slots. Like and have so in Dash.io, sometimes you wanted the adaptive plating in your arms and you wanted the action points for your legs. But then in other matchups, you would just move it to your legs, and then you have like Goliath Gauntlet for your arms.
Yeah.
Um, so it's I really enjoy that flexibility of it, but it uh, it kind of just seems like they threw a baby in a pool and it's trying to figure out how to swim. And its name is Tekla Lawson, and it's trying to figure out how to deal with anything that has arcane. The pool is arcane, and Tekla
Yeah.
Lawson's the
Just
baby. And you're
drowning.
just like,
Yeah.
what? What? You
What
just
am
threw a
I
baby in a
doing?
pool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm here for it. I want to see the vision come to fruition. Someday Tekla will be good. I mean, if Azalea became good, then Tekla can become good.
We ain't never going back to bright lights, so he ain't never gonna be good.
Ain't
He
never.
gonna have to,
It's gonna take
dude, he's gonna
15
have to show
expansion
up and
slot cards.
he's gonna have to show up in freaking The Dawn Has Come and fight Dory as a shadow hero for him to be good.
Yeah. All right. So we're just gonna cut that off right there. We're gonna not transition at all. I'm gonna read the
Nope.
next one. Plan for the worst. Ranger action. Blocks for 3. It is a blue Nate. This says, this is a whole block of text here. So this says, look at the target hero's hand and arsenal. At the beginning of their next end phase, they discard all cards in their hand and destroy all cards in their arsenal. Search your deck for up to 3 traps, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle 2 of them from your hand back into your deck.
Right.
So it's like another fetch card for Riptide. It does
Here,
not
what?
have Go Again.
Wait, Ted, 1 second. I think I have a live look in at a Riptide player. 1 second. Guys, we got another expansion slot. It's amazing. It fixed everything. Just like Intoxicating Shot, just like Reeled In, just like Murky Waters. We're in, boys. Don't ignore the fact that we don't have a weapon. We're a defensive based hero. Ignore all of it. We're in.
Oh my god, that was brutal on the ears, Nate.
Was it really?
It was not great, but it works. I mean, yeah, it's like you said, it's another tech piece. So, I mean, I
It's
don't know.
whatever.
Yeah,
It's
it's like a
like,
blue block 3, so it just like add it to the pile. I mean, Riptide's like pretty decent right now.
did my video die?
Yep.
What the heck? Did I get too excited?
Something happened. Now you're
There we
back.
go.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it doesn't have Go Again, so you have to like do this after your Go Again attacks. It's
Wait, it doesn't even have Go Again?
no.
Card sucks.
Yeah, I don't think it's pretty. You are. I don't think it's very good. I think it's like fine, like you said, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
I grabbed the Yeti, which is like on the cord that connects to my webcam. So it listen. I ain't
Dude,
proud of what I did,
sounds,
but
sounds like you have a
players
real
very proud.
robust system over there, Nate. It's like held together with duct tape and bubble gum. Cool.
You freaking know it, dude.
So yeah, I mean, I like you said, it just goes on the pile, right?
Yeah.
And then now to your favorite, flutter steps. So this is illusion equipment. All these are majestic. This one says when this is destroyed, you may play your next aura this turn as though it were an instant. Ward 1.
Dude, we've seen how good Ward 1 equipment is. In any Ward equipment and how good it is. When they have abilities, they are highly played. Some of the most collectible cards in the game, and everyone wants them. Wait 1 second. Oh no, that's not true. They're hot garbage. Oh, dang it! I thought I actually had a good tip. Oh, no,
I'm
sorry.
sensing a
It's
theme
trash.
here
It's
with these.
absolute garbage. You're gonna be sad when you open them, and you're gonna actually want to put on slippers and crawl back into your bed out of pure sadness.
All right. Okay then. So
Garbage.
tell us how you really feel. I don't know. Like I don't. It doesn't seem. They don't seem super spicy to me. I mean, they're
No.
a thing, right? I don't know. Blocks for
Yeah.
one.
Sure,
Mm.
dude.
You could play a blue aura, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be super cool. It's almost as good as like getting one resource every time another ward thing dies, or getting a ponder token every time a ward thing dies. It's
Man,
like super
blue
easy to
state and
control in this game of
celestial
Flesh and Blood,
kimono.
and you can almost get zero value out of it, probably more than 50% of the time, which is what you're looking for the things that you're putting on board to start the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough. Yeah. It's pretty tough.
You might get more use out of Nullrune.
Yeah. Zen, I think, just is like, that's cute. I'll do 25 now. I'll just do exactly whatever it takes over your amount of block in your hand and
Mhm.
kill every piece of word you own.
Which, hey, 1 second, let me check my notes here. Oh, that's right. Illusionists do like to run a lot of no box. So they're not like the best blocking class in the world. Huh, who
Yeah.
knew?
All right, so that wraps up spoilers so far. We got another week or so, week and a half until like actual spoiler season, and it's only like 2 days long. Doing something a little different this time, so that's exciting. I'll be in Tampa trying to open up all those unrevealed and unspoiled M's and legendaries, and hopefully my packs bless me with something spicy.
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing we wanted to talk about this week, Nate, is
Collector's
yeah, collection. Collectors
Yeah.
Week was this past week, and they had a number of things going on. I think there's two big items of news, and the first one is the print run update. Um, so yeah, they went through, they updated the print runs. They also updated the chart or like the data on their website to include out of stock and out of print. Out of stock is a new thing, and it basically means that it's are sold out and no longer available at distro, which is pretty cool to know. Like, I think it's like a nice little bit of information to be like, is that like, can I get it still? Where's it at? It definitely informs, collectability and things like that. So that was cool.
Hmm.
We got a bunch of numbers. Um, I
Wait, where
would
do you see
say,
it at?
what?
Where do you see where's the out of stock announced? I didn't see that.
It says right there, products marked as OOP or out of print and OOS out of stock are sold out and no longer available at distro or purchased from LSS. Available for distributors to purchase from LSS. That's the exact verbiage. Whatever remains in the market is that all that's left of these products. So, and pretty much every set except, well, WTR, Arc, Crew, Mon, Tails, Everfest, Uprising, Black Label, Dynasty, Outsiders in English, Dusk Till Dawn in English are all out of stock. So a good amount actually. Like the only sets that are not out of stock is HP1 white border, HP2 black border, Evo heavy and mist, obviously because those just came out in the last year,
Yep.
right? So I think I don't know. We don't have to like. I don't think there's like a lot of point to dive into the numbers. If you want to go check them out on the website, you can. The one thing that I think is like super positive is that it reconfirms. Not that I needed reconfirmation of this, but print run numbers have gone down significantly from COVID times.
Yes.
And they already had mentioned that was the plan with Fab 2.0. And now we kind of get some more data on, outside of print runs and Dynasty and things like that. So,
Yes. Yeah, it is just nice to see that they slowly shrink it.
mm-hmm.
It, I mean, Dust Till Dawn did come back up. I think they might have maybe overcompensated because they kind of had to hit it once, and it wasn't something they could like go back to the printers and say like, "Hey, we need
Yeah.
a little bit extra on this one." Um,
Yeah, because of the art, the sketch cards, the 20 sketch cards that were supplemented in those packs. Obviously, you can't, when you say there's 20 in the entire print run, you can't just keep adding to that, right?
yeah.
That's a little disingenuous or just not proper, I guess. I don't know how to put that. So,
So it's really cool to see. Like they're doing exactly what they said they would do, um, and they're being transparent about it, which is like something that I think as collectors and people who are like putting their time and money into the game, it is nice to see that
yeah.
like while sometimes it is hard to agree with every single decision that someone makes,
Mm-hmm.
from me and you to LSS to anybody, right? But knowing that LSS time and time again has kind of showed they will put their money where their mouth is and do what they say they're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
um, gives me a lot of confidence in holding all of the random cards in boxes that I hold. Knowing that I think in the long run the game has a lot of legs and longevity and will continue to perform as such.
Yep. Yeah, and just being able to update these numbers yearly, that's kind of their, it gives you some, like you said, confidence, right?
Yep.
The other big news from, I guess, earlier in Collectors Week is that they updated and added to some of their policies. So
Yes.
they added rainbow foil verbiage to their reprint policy, which basically, I mean, we've been saying this since I think the beginning of this podcast, Nate, is that we noticed it pretty early on that anytime a card got reprinted, be it Ravenous Rabble or um, any
Scar.
like, yeah, Scar for Scar was one of the first ones, right? We saw it come back in Uprising, and we noticed right away it didn't have a rainbow foil in the set. And then we've kind of, honestly, I've kind of kept an eye on it, right? But now they've made it official and put it on their website that they will not, when they do a reprint, they will not reprint that card in rainbow foil in the same art, right? I think they give themselves a little bit of leeway there,
Yep.
to do some promos and stuff like that, right? But overall, right, if they reprint X card, like Ravenous Rabble only comes in rainbow foil in Arcane Rising.
Yes.
So that's a big deal, right? Because the market's kind of the market's reacted to that sentiment, right? Ravenous Ravels are like not cheap. They're not 25 cents. They're a couple bucks here or there. Sink below rainbow foils are, they go from $8 to $15 at times. So if you buy, so it just kind of like you said, it gives you a little bit more confirmation if you want to spend $45 on rainbow foil sinks because you play all your rune blades are rainbow foil only.
Yeah.
then I don't, the next set isn't going to have rainbow foil sinks in it, right? Or I'm going to have the OG ones, and then, some ways down the line they'll change the art or whatever. But yeah, so that was really cool news, and I like to see them make it official, because it was a lot of the times we just were speculating, we're like, yeah, we're pretty sure this is what's happening, but we didn't have any confirmation on that other than the proof in the sets, right?
Yep. So I mean, it's clearly something they've been thinking about since Uprising,
Yeah.
and they just kind of put pen to paper just to give people that reassurance. While, well, they didn't have to. They certainly could have just left it very ambiguous and just kind of like then later on down the line decide to do a reprint set and put rainbow foils in it. But
Yeah.
they again they treat the game like it is a very, I mean, it is their baby, it is their engine for
Mhm.
making money, so they have to treat this with longevity in mind, which is
Yeah.
why like even down to like the Azalea product, there's only one red in the ledger in it, one barbed undertow.
Yeah.
It's the I think they learned from like the KO and the Bolton deck is like they don't need to reprint cards in them, and if they do, maybe one.
Yeah.
And like here's a one of, you get one red in the ledger.
Yeah.
We're not going to give you a full play set. You can
Mhm.
go pick some up if you want more, but this is to give you the taste of the power that is available.
Yeah.
Go get the rest in the secondary market.
Yep. Yeah.
Uh,
It's pretty smart, right? Like you said, it's longevity in mind, which is really nice. Um, I'm not gonna I don't wanna like despair, like this isn't disparaging, but like this is a let's be clear, this is not a typical thing. This makes their this makes their job honestly harder, because now
yep.
they have to constantly like have that push and the pull of like, okay, how do we reprint this? Do we do promos? Do we um, do this or that? There's other companies in games right now that they're two sets in, and I'll just say it: Star Wars Unlimited. They're two sets in, and they've reprinted cards. And Star Wars Unlimited has multiple rarities, Nate, where they have like hyperspace, then they have hyperspace rainbow foil, then they have rainbow foil regular cards. For draft in that game, FFG has already printed cards, reprinted cards, and guess what? In the second set, they come in hyperspace, they come in hyperspace rainbow foil, they come in rainbow foil. So,
They reprinted set one cards in set two.
yes, sir. And they reprinted them in all three versions or four versions. So it's not just like it's a non-foil, it's literally every single version. So if you pull the hyperspace, they're commons and rares, right? So they're not like big dollar cards. Let's be clear. But they also, if you pulled the hyperspace foil of this card in set one, your hyperspace foil now is worth almost nothing, because now it can be pulled in both sets. Or you pulled your set and then you pull more in the second set. That feels terrible. Yeah. So like let's be clear on what LSS is doing here. I think we've always applauded them for this, and I think this is like one of the coolest things that this company does.
Yes, and like to be very clear, this is something that also is like a risk for them too, because like we saw with surgical extraction, mistakes can happen at the printers. Like
Mm-hmm.
we saw with Outsiders, like oopsie, all fabled boxes.
Yeah.
Mistakes
Yeah.
can happen at the printers. So like them putting this to ink does pose some risk, but it's a risk they
Mm-hmm.
want to take to send a statement, because they are reprinting. We've seen almost every set now where they've taken these sets, these cards from like WTR and ARC, where whether it's even just like as malign as like nimble strike and wounding blow and nimbleism,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
to have these like draft shaft kind of things that kind of fill in the
Mm-hmm.
pieces.
Yep.
Um, but they make so much sense in the draft format. Like printers could oopsie, wounding blow gets reprinted in rainbow foil, and it's like
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah.
But LSS doesn't have any control over that. Well, they have some control, but like
Yeah.
it's a variable they don't need to introduce, but they want to preserve the collectability of the game, which is admirable and awesome.
Yeah, and
Um,
like let's be clear too. And what you're saying is, I think again, I'm an engineer, and so
are you?
I look at a lot
I
of
didn't know
things as
that.
far as manufacturing, and I thought about this. I was like, why would FFG do that? Right? Like it doesn't. And then at the end of the day, I think there, like you just said, there is a real just easy button, just yeah, it doesn't, yeah, that art can be on the hyperspace sheets, or like you said, they have to specifically pay for extra quality control to make sure that scar for scar didn't make it onto the rainbow foil sheets, right? When they're cut, they had to make sure that they only get on non-foil, which now adds another variable into that system. And it is harder. It's legit harder to not do it than it is to do it, which is like counterintuitive, but like that's how it works, right? So overall, just making their job harder, but they know in the long run, this is how you stay. Um, this is like, yeah, longevity is the key here. So
In those other games, there's other games too that have to work with Disney, so they have to get all the arts approved. They have to get
mhm.
literally everything approved through Disney before they can even hit the print button.
Yeah,
So sometimes it's going to be a lot easier to say, we already got all this stuff approved, just hit the print button again, instead of trying to say, ooh, let's actually change some things. No,
yeah,
it's just easier to hit the print button.
yeah. And I like, I don't want to like, man, I don't want to sound like super negative on other games either, and be like, oh, if you like
They
that
all
game,
suck.
if you like that game, you suck or nothing. It's not
They
like
do.
that. It's just there's a difference, right? And like you have to, as a consumer of that game or the other games, you have to understand that it is not as collectible as FFG as LSS is, right? Because LSS is literally taking the time to make sure their game is collectible at
Yep.
multiple fronts, right? Big promos at exclusive events. You know, when I went to Barcelona, I have a sigil that says Barcelona on it and the date, right? Like, and I'll have 10 years from now and I can be like, oh, in 2023, I went to Barcelona. How cool is that, right? There's like multiple levels to this, and it's just not in the box, and it's just really cool to see them, you know, like continuously hammer that home, like this is a collectible game, which is awesome.
Yes. And then the last thing,
Yes.
easy segue of collectability. The most collectible, literally probably the second. No, because all
It's
the
super rare, dude.
I in terms of play sets, rarest card in the game.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. I don't know,
Yes.
there's like probably some weird like alpha stuff that got out that I don't know about.
No. There's nothing that
Maybe,
would be printed. It would have to be test print stuff.
or maybe out of those 40 boxes of Everfest, Everfest
That
Unlimited.
is true. Unlimited swing
There's some
bigs, baby. To the
rainbow
moon.
foil potions out there in New Zealand somewhere. Someone's
Dude,
got the
yes.
most
Okay,
rare
I
card.
take it back. All right, retract my previous statement. Nah,
But
it's barely even rare when you think about it.
yeah. So we're talking about the last kind of the end wrap up the week announcement where they showed off the Kasai winning Command and Conquer. Um, very cool. That's a cool thing. That ended up being, what was it, 58 total Kasai winners
Yes.
throughout the season. So yeah, that is very rare. Yeah, and
Yeah.
congrats. That
Yes.
is a sweet card, my friend.
Yes. When
Um,
I get mine in the mail, I will make sure to bring it on the channel.
yes, we got to show that off for sure.
Super cool. It's I think with how successful this was and how well received it was, I would love to see something like this going forward. Um, and it doesn't have to be CNC. I actually would prefer it not be CNC, but like think
Yeah,
about um, it's really weird. Part the Misfil had like no competitive season outside of majors.
yeah, yep,
There was no ProQuest, no RTNs. on Part the Mistveil. But like if there was like a rainbow foil like weakest link with Enigma on top, or like Ben on top, or New on
Yeah.
top, like that that to me almost feels like more collectible
Yeah.
than a gold foil pack with potential like Norune or
Yeah.
like Crucible of Aetherweave. It just the gold foil is it almost feels like it's overdone at this point. To be completely like, I love gold foils. I think they're really cool, but it kind of feels like they're overdone in like the reception that we've seen in terms of offers for the CNC have been quite large.
Yeah. Yeah. It
And
was
I
moving around a bit.
it was kind of wild when it dropped. There's started at 1,000,
Yeah.
went to 1,500, then there was an offer for 2,000.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll see.
it
Like, I think a lot of these offers are just like people feeling it out. I think once cards start getting in hand, that market will start cooking. I think it's people that
yeah,
need those play sets, right?
we'll see where it does like eventually end up, but like those are big price tags for a prize card in an
Mhm.
event where you already won a gold foil.
Yeah.
So I
I think it would be kind of cool if it wasn't hero locked, like you didn't have to win on Enigma, but it was like if you won a draft ProQuest or RTN, you got weakest link with like you said, almost like the Olympics are fresh in my mind. So it was just like the like Enigma with this many wins, Zen with this many, you know what I
yeah,
mean? It was like a podium. That'd be
yeah.
kind of cool. Just something like, and then it's shipped to you later because they have to develop the art and stuff. So I I think there's something there. I don't know if I'm cool with it being always locked to like you had to win on Kasai, because that shifts some. I don't know that yeah, that can
It
move some
makes
things
it
around, right?
yeah,
Like
it does
you're
it
in the
does make it
finals and you're on Kasai and you're like, bro, I don't know. It's just yeah,
it does make it I do think, especially if they're doing like play, because there's a lot of cards that we could have done in the past where it's like you look at weakest link, heavy hitters could have been like a blade flurry, like
yeah,
there could have been like an alt art warmonger's diplomacy, and like codex of frailties, like well, codex has had the marvel, so probably not that,
yeah,
but like that that feels like a very special prize card that like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sell it because
it
like
was like
there's
a
only
trophy.
58,
Yeah,
and if it's gonna be like a really special piece for me
hmm,
to have, because it'll be the rarest thing I own in Flesh and Blood.
yep, for
Which
sure.
is weird because I've won a gold foil legendary now, but like, and I wasn't even thinking about the Kasai in that way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I don't know. It's
It's
interesting.
fun. I think it's a cool way to end Collectors Week, and it was yeah. It's a little it's exciting to see the art revealed and all that. So yeah,
It
overall, I think it was pretty cool, especially with the like those policy updates, and then we got those numbers. The articles were really cool. I got to see gold foil degens. Like, dude, that was a collection, bro.
dude, that
That
was
was like that was a whole ass table of stuff, man. And he had like stacks of the judge. It was cool that he called out the judge packs, right? He's like judging's hard, so I like to support them.
dude, I I shout out to Foil Degen. I love his videos.
Yeah,
I
dude,
love the
he's hype,
pick a
man.
card. I love guess the card, win the card. I love those videos.
Yeah.
But also like he's a baller.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
good. He's good at the
Yeah,
game
yeah,
too. Like he's not just like some guy who like bellies up and just drops fat stacks. He's
yeah.
like, I'm gonna win this gold foil and then I'm gonna buy the rest of them.
Right.
It's like, I'm
I'm
like,
gonna buy
all
them
right,
all. Yeah,
respect, man.
yeah, for sure.
So
But All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. Brian, you can officially go to sleep. Hopefully you made it all the way to the end and didn't have to listen to us in the next morning. We're keeping it a little bit shorter for you this week, but
50 minutes short.
yeah. Hey, we're under an hour, bro. Come on.
I
Like, subscribe, do the do. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Put your money where your mouth is.